National Football League, it changes really fast. Teams switch around their rosters every day. So today I'm going to be talking about some players who I think do not need to be given up on, who should be given another chance because they got a lot left and they can still prove that they ball. The first person I want to talk about is Anthony Richardson, the starting quarterback for the Colts.
The gang talking to me sounding like some activists. Talk to him every.
He was drafted 4th overall in 2023, and to me, he was reached on. He could have been drafted way later. I think he was initially projected as a second-round pick. He came out of Florida. He was with no experience whatsoever, and his combine and his pro day performance really boosted up his stock. I think he has all the tools to be the next Cam Newton in the league. Dominant on the run game, a good passer. He has a crazy arm, but I just think that they drafted him way too early, and it shows in the way he plays. He does not have enough experience, and he just needs to learn under a veteran guy. Maybe he should learn under Daniel Jones. That might not be the worst thing that they should do, because obviously they're in a quarterback battle, and he's been getting injured, but I still think that he's their best chance at saving their franchise just because of how physically gifted he is. He just needs to learn a little bit like accuracy and leadership. And to me, the most glaring things that stand out about him is maturity, accuracy. He needs to preserve himself. I think that's pretty much, and decision making. And maturity, that means no taking yourself out of the game when you're tired. And that means leading the team because you're the quarterback. You have to lead. And accuracy, obviously, that speaks for itself. He's been as inaccurate as Jimmy Garoppolo, And a 49ers fan like myself will get that. He also just needs to keep himself healthy because he's been injured. I don't think he's played a full season due to injuries. I think last year was, but that was only his second season. That's bad because he's already had a season-ending injury in his first year. That's not good. He doesn't want to go down the Trey Lance route, And I think that he just needs to work on his decision-making because he did throw a lot of picks. He threw a lot of ill-advised balls. Not like Will Levis, who I will get to later, but Richardson can always learn from that. His head coach is the former offensive coordinator for the Eagles during their first Super Bowl run against Mahomes. That was a good run for Hurts, too. We really saw how good Hurts became. So I think that Richardson can get there. Anyways, I just think that they drafted him too early, and he was supposed to be drafted as a project QB. Like Jalen Milroe, I think he could be the what not to do for Jalen Milroe, because Jalen Milroe came out of Alabama, minimal experience, just like Richardson. They both are physically gifted. Milroe's faster, but Richardson's bulkier and stronger. And I think that they both should have some time sitting under the veteran and learning, and then they ball in the second or third year after sitting. Just like Jordan Love. Jordan Love was a great example of why that works. Michael Penix, hopefully he works out. He's an earlier example, a more recent one. And I just think that he was drafted as a project QB, so they should treat him like one. The media is going after him for no reason because he's thrown into the fire with no development, and that's not okay. He wasn't taught to keep himself healthy. He wasn't taught all of these things, and he needs to be treated as a future talent, not a now talent. Like the 49ers drafted Trey Lance, and they threw him into the fire. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, if you're going to draft a project QB and a starting QB so early, you need to do it so that you'll be set up for later, Again, I'm going to bring back Jordan Love because he was the best example I can give on this subject. Packers drafted him in the first round, and then they let him sit, and now he's a good quarterback. He's not horrible because he wasn't thrown into the fire. And his physical potential is off the charts. So I really don't want them to waste Anthony Richardson. He has a crazy arm, crazy legs, crazy physique, and really he's the next Cam Newton. I said this before, and I'll say it again. He runs like an angry Wolverine, and he throws like Josh Allen on steroids. He broke both jumping records at the combine, broad jump and long jump vertical. That was the same. And then he also had one of the fastest 40s in combine history. The only people to beat him was RG3 and another individual, and Reggie McNeil. Both of them were over 20 pounds heavier than him. Lighter than him. Richardson is a freak. Chad Johnson knows it. He's made tweets about that. Everyone who watched the combine and watched Richardson work knows that he could be great. And there are a lot of casuals out there who just see the game and they don't see the side to Richardson that I'm seeing. He's physically gifted. He's 6'4", 244 pounds. He's big. He's almost bigger than Kittle. He's taller than Kittle. He's heavier than Hassan Reddick. Bigger than DeAndre Hopkins hand-wise. Higher vertical than Devontae Adams. His broad jump was longer than Odell, and his 40 was faster than CeeDee Lamb. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, arguably a top 5 wide receiver. Odell, an amazing receiver of all time. Devontae Adams, another amazing receiver of all time. Hopkins, another one of all time. Reddick is a great pass rusher, and Kittle is a beast physically. So, I mean, and he could throw the ball. At his pro day, he chucked a casual ball that hit the top of the dome. So, I mean, again, Richardson is physically gifted. I think the Colts should never give up on someone with that kind of potential. To put that in perspective, Cam Newton was 6'5", 248. Derrick Henry's 6'3", 247. Well, at the time when he was measured. Kittle again, 6'4", 247. Von Miller, 6'3", 246. Big Ben, 6'5", 241. So he's in great company with his size. So he's going to be elite when he develops into this system. And that's why they should not give up on him. I mean, you see how Cam Newton worked out with the Panthers. Obviously, I don't think Richardson will break out that year in his third year, but he might eventually get to the point where he's having an MVP Cam Newton type season. He's got the team around him, and I just think that the front office should not give up on him, especially how high they drafted. The next quarterback on this list I want to talk about is Trey Lance. He was drafted in number 3 in 2021 to the San Francisco 49ers, my team. But he was given up on after, 2-3 years? It's sad because I saw them draft him. I was really excited to watch him play. But then he just got injured and injured and injured again. And he had to change up his throwing, change to lefty. I don't know, but I wanted Trey Lance to succeed so badly. But, I mean, it never always works. It almost never works out in the league. But not only did he not get many opportunities, he was only healthy for like a good solid 2 weeks into the season. Even then, it was 1.5 because he got hurt in 2021 against the 2022 against the Seahawks pretty early. And he just had, just no opportunities, kept getting injured. Should have been drafted that early, actually. The 49ers could have drafted him at 11, really, because he was all hype, all bark, no bite in the pre-draft process. I think they saw the mirage of what Josh Allen was and what Trey Lance could be. And they just reached on it. It wasn't like looking in the desert, you see an oasis, but it's not an oasis. So you run over there, it's just another patch of sand. That's what the 49ers did. They traded up, and it was just another bust. And I hate to say it, but he shouldn't have been drafted that early. He shouldn't have declared for the 2021 draft. He should have stayed for a year. He was at North Dakota State. That's not a particularly good program to be in. So he should have transferred to another program. And then again, he would have been drafted pretty high in 2022 as well, because he would have transferred. That class was particularly weak, and he had a high upside going into the draft. His pro day was good. I didn't see his combine, and he should have been seen how I'm saying Jordan Love was being seen, a project quarterback. And I think they did a good job letting him sit under Garoppolo for a year, but they should have let him sit again under Garoppolo for a year. I don't think they should have thrown Trey Lance into the fire after just 1 year, especially with how much they knew he was inexperienced. He only played, a solid 1 season fully at North Dakota State. He did ball out, but that's not the point. He didn't play enough. And he just kept getting injured. I thought he was going to be the guy for the Cowboys, honestly. I thought he had enough upside at that point in his career, and then he throws, 5 picks in a preseason game? I mean, it's preseason, but still, just unbelievably what if, but not a big what if, but he could have been the guy for the... If I was Jerry Jones, instead of Joe Milton, I would have given Lance another year, because Milton would have been staying behind, and then maybe you could have got him for like a 7th round pick in a year. So I would have kept Lance and then I would have seen how he does in the preseason again. Maybe mix him in a little bit. I don't know, but he could have been something, I guess. Especially in Shanahan's run game system. That would have been fun to watch. Especially a quarterback like Josh Allen would have, how he's playing right now. If Trey Lance could have even be a tenth of Josh Allen, I would have been happy as a 49ers fan. But it is what it is in the league, and he shouldn't really been given up on. I mean, broken ankle and then hurt hand or whatever it was. He did play okay against some teams in the preseason, and he played against Houston. He threw good balls, but he was just mediocre even then. So, next quarterback I want to talk about is Will Levis. Oh, the Mayo Master. He has a high upside. I think just like Richardson, he's a physical specimen. He had a great arm talent. He has great arm talent. I think he also threw a ball that hit the dome, but he played against Atlanta, I think, one of his first games as a starter. He threw 4 touchdowns to DeAndre Hopkins. All of them were on deep balls or something. He just needed a coach. He just needed a coach that would help him on decision making. I think Brian Callahan didn't do Levis correctly. I think after the first game, he should have worked with Levis instead of throwing him under the bus. Obviously, you can. I mean, it was all his fault against the Bears week 1. But I think that they should have given him another chance. They should have worked with him on his decision making, and he should have stayed in the lab for a little bit longer. He has the physical ability to succeed in the league. His legs are strong, his arm is strong, he can run, and he is a good, strong quarterback. He was given up way too early. I think that any team could trade for him if they need another quarterback. Maybe even Dallas. Dallas should get all the quarterbacks they need because, once again, Dak is ass. And I think that Joe Milton will take his spot too. So I think it would be fun to see Will Levis, Joe Milton competition in Dallas, but he's not going to go there. It's good that he's going to be the backup. I mean, he's still technically in play for the starter job, but we both know he's not. We all know he's not going to get it. And sad to see because Levis could have been something as well. I think he still has a chance to. He's not really on the Trey Lance path because he never got injured, but he has upside. It's just being outweighed by all the stupid meme plays that he's done. Now I'm going to start talking about some receivers. Definitely the first person on this list is Quentin Johnston. He's not fully given up on yet because he has been making progress. Harbaugh has seen him. They've been working in the lab. Johnston was the top wide receiver coming in at one point. He was compared, in my mind, to DK Metcalf. He was a big receiver who could, he can route run too. He was a great prospect, actually. People were rating him pretty high, and then he started falling to Drake London, Jordan Addison, all those guys in the draft, pre-draft process. But he should be getting an increased role. The Chargers retooled their whole wide receiver room, so it's him, Ladd McConkey, and I think they drafted another guy out of Ole Miss. So he is making improvements. He's technically incomplete in the judgment right now. He will be reevaluated next season. But I was excited to see him get drafted to the Chargers. I initially said Drake London was going to go to the Chargers, but Johnston is pretty good too. He's a big, strong wide receiver they can have at number 2. I think they got Trey Harris there as well, so we have to see how they go. Both of them should be fun to watch. 3 good wide receivers, young wide receivers that can develop into something special in LA. So SoFi is going to be lit with their touchdowns. Hopefully he doesn't drop anymore. That's the main reason why I'm making this point. Johnston has everything else. He was putting up good numbers in fantasy last season too. He's been making progress. I just think he needs to start working on the jugs machine a lot more, because that's what his main problem is. And it's nothing else. I just think they might give up on him because he keeps dropping these big plays. Next one is Treylon Burks.
If I'm being honest, why you been capping about your whole life?
I think he was drafted in 2022. Eagles traded their pick for A.J. Brown, and the Titans got Treylon Burks. What a horrible trade. I saw it. My brother at the time was following the Titans because of Derrick Henry, and he was just shocked by this trade. A.J. Brown is such an integral part of the team at that point, and he still is for the Eagles. He's one of the reasons why they won the Super Bowl. I think he has 2 touchdowns in Super Bowls combined, both of them he scored. So he's way better than Treylon Burks ever thought he could be. Burks was being compared to Deebo Samuel in the pre-draft process, and that was coming off the year when Deebo went off. So it makes sense why they would try and make a swing for him. But he just had horrible luck with injuries. I think he had asthma, and then he had some back problems, and it's just another Trey Lance of wide receivers. And he just needs to find a new role in offense. He could go on special teams, make some plays in the return game, or on new teams altogether, because I think Xavier Restrepo, undrafted free agent, will take his spot. He is the I said this again, Trey Lance of wide receivers. He should break out this season, though. I think maybe they give him one last shot, and he proves his worth just until the free agency cycle. He goes on a little bit of a run so that free agency he can get a little deal. Maybe be a bench warmer for another team, maybe a second string. And it's just sad because I liked Burks, too, going into the pre-draft process. He was compared to Deebo Samuel, said, I'm going to be like Deebo Samuel. His Arkansas highlights were pretty good. He did, his first touchdown in the league was pretty cool, too. I think he caught it off a tip or something. But, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Obviously, he's going to be given up on. It's in the writing. It's in the tea leaves. And I think that he's definitely going to leave the team. He might get traded for like a 7th-round pick, but he won't do anything else. He's done on the Titans. But he should maybe have a breakout season this year just to lead into the free agency next season. Next person I want to talk about is Isaiah Bond.
Beautiful.
007 should not be given up on. He's incredible talent, and he's being wasted by this sexual assault allegation lawsuit. And what's crazy is that other people have done way worse, and they're still in the league. Deshaun Watson, to be one. And even in the pre-draft process, there are people who have done reckless driving. Mike Green had a sexual assault allegation coming through, and they were both on their way. They both got drafted. Jalen Carter had something going on. A bunch of Georgia players have these things going on, and they all got drafted, actually. So it's just insane how Isaiah Bond isn't getting drafted, especially when there's no evidence to convict him of this stuff. But it's worse. It's sad. He definitely fits on some other teams in the league, like Kansas City. I think it would be really funny to see fast wide receiver Worthy next to a fast wide receiver Bond next to Marquise Brown and Rashee Rice. Those four would be crazy, especially if Marquise Brown could be a trade chip. He's getting older and might want to trade him. He's not that old, but if they want to go young. Rashee Rice coming off an injury, it would be good to get Bond back. Good to get Bond. Miami, another one, because Tyreek Hill might leave. Bond is fast. Fits into a whole MO for Mike McDaniels. Seattle, that was when they traded Metcalf and cut Lockett. In that time, they got Cup, but Jake Bobo is still there. He's a good receiver. I think D. Eskridge might still be on the team. If not, he showed potential. He's not the best, but Bond could definitely go there. Smith and Jigba is still on the roster. He's the one. So Buffalo is another one because the way I see it, they only have Shakir, they only have Keon Coleman, and that's it. I think Matt Collins left. If Matt Collins is still in the roster, he was good this season too, but I think Bond would be good to have a young wide receiver to pair, especially because Shakir could leave. I don't know if he's going into a contract, but he might ask for more money, and that might be too expensive for the Bills. Then last but not least is Jermaine Burton. I want to talk about him because he has been late. What I've seen, he has a lack of discipline just through the media. I haven't seen him play because he hasn't gotten many opportunities, but he needs to reinvent himself on the team. He's a star wide receiver. He got drafted out in 2024. He's young. He has potential. He came from big programs like Bama and Georgia. He went to Bama, right? No, he came from Georgia. He did come from Bama. Yes, he did come from Bama. He came from Georgia. He's drafted to the Bengals. He could be a 1, 2, 3 on the Bengals. I know they have Andre Iosivas. They have some guys, Trenton Irwin. But Jermaine Burton would be pretty cool to see on the roster, especially because he's big. He was rated as a good pick. So I think that he just needs to show the front office that he has a good work ethic Maybe join special teams if he really wants to get some returns and get some touches. Because at Bama he had at Georgia he had career high. He played in 10 games, 3 touchdowns, 404 yards on 27 receptions. Not the best, but I mean he's still good, and he was great on Alabama, so he should be getting some rotations. He won a national championship. So I'd like to see Burton get some reps. He was one of the receivers I followed during the pre-draft process. So hopefully he gets to reinvent himself, break out. Hi guys, thank you for watching Elite Ball Knowledge. Please drop a like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are studs for watching. Thank you.